Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to What's the Damage, the good old WTD question mark here on my channel, the longest running series on this YouTube channel ever. And it is the segment where I can unleash my inner rage and anger and share often very controversial and non-agreeable opinions. I'm not really sure even non-agreeable is a real word, but I said it, I used it, I patented it. I want a freaking quarter every time somebody says it. Just hotwire me those damn quarters. I'm gonna make a quarter tower and do the things, you know, and save up enough quarters to maybe go to a zoo or, you know, an oceanarium so I can, you know, record a video explaining why I hate them so much. Well, maybe not exactly hate, but I do not really support the idea, you know, of what they represent, and that's what this video is going to be about. You know, I have talked about this topic before, I have addressed this, you know, in another video, but I'm going to do it again because I want to. You know, I'm even wearing the same shirt, so it's an exact perfect remake. And here's the thing, guys. Zoos and aquatic zoos, you know, or oceanariums, sea aquariums, you know, they have been popular for hundreds of years, you know, maybe even thousands, where basically it is a way for us to go to a public place and see animals, you know, that to us look like they are in a relative, you know, safety and comfort, you know, of their glass cages or whatever, you know. But like when you're a kid, you go to a zoo and you see these animals up close, or you see the aquatic mammals, you know, the fish. It looks really awesome. It's great, you know. I grew up in Florida, so there were tons of, you know, opportunities. There was I went to Busch Gardens, which had kind of like a wildlife preserve of sorts, you know. I went to Miami Sea Aquarium countless times, so I kind of grew up with this, you know, and saw, you know, all of these animals there from the safety of where I was viewing them from, you know. And it always looks cool, it looks awesome, but when you grow up, you realize that these places are actually no more than just oversized cages for these animals, you know. There are certain animals that do not do very well in captivity, and especially in zoos, some of them are very mistreated. Sometimes they are put in pens that are either way too small or even maybe too artificial for them, you know. They can't really adapt very well. Some of them are lonely because they are put by themselves in kind of like this isolation area, and others don't get along very well with the other members of their species, you know, because it's very strange for an animal who has wild instincts to be, you know, raised in captivity, and then like it's going to adapt, sure, but there will still be some psychological issues for that animal in the long run. And maybe sometimes they'll try to release the animal back into the wild, but it will die because it's not prepared for life there, you know. It didn't develop the social and survival skills that it needed to actually adapt to a life outside of the cage, you know, that it was in. So that's essentially what zoos are. They take animals, sometimes they don't necessarily poach them and kidnap them, but sometimes they rescue them and raise them there in captivity. But in many cases they do go out to capture them, you know, so they can actually, like, I think that it's more viable to raise an animal from as a baby, as an infant, you know, instead of actually capturing an adult one. That's kind of what the idea of zoos are, you know. And it's really cruddy sometimes, you know. It really is crappy because like the animals, or some of them are well fed, they're well groomed, they're taken care of, but they're still animals, and it doesn't really seem right for animals to be put in a cage for the entertainment of other people, you know, for our own amusement, because we pay money to see them. Some humans are cruel, they'll make fun of the animals, they'll throw stuff at the cages, they'll aggravate them, you know, and that's really gonna stress the animal out, and that's not what, you know, I mean, that's not exactly what it's about, man, you know. We're not supposed to meddle with the animal kingdom in this capacity here. And even though some zoos house very intricate and interesting and amazingly beautiful animals, it's good to go there and see them, because it is a way for us to experience the animal kingdom in a way that we normally wouldn't be able to, because not everybody can afford to go on safaris, for example, or go out to see them in the wild. So it is an interesting concept, but the way that many zoos treat their animals, it does, like, wildlife preserves are different, you know, like they are there helping to preserve wildlife. It's in the name. They help the animals to grow, they take care of them, they heal them when they get sick and injured, you know. That's different, you know. But like zoos where we pay money to see animals sometimes do tricks and stuff for treats, you know, like we don't know how abused they're actually being in the background, you know. It's actually really sad when you think about it. Certain animals are not made for captivity, so they don't thrive well at all in the zoo atmosphere, let's say, you know. That setting isn't really good for the animal, but still, it's crazy, you know. Zoos have drawn a lot of controversy for animal cruelty and that kind of thing, you know, which we do know happens in some of them, maybe even most of them. I can't generalize and say all of them, but you know, you guys get the point. To illustrate it a little bit more, I'm going to show you guys a few photos here of zoos and the animals that are housed within them. some of those photos might have kind of glamorized, you know, zoos in general. Maybe they looked pretty okay, they looked nice, because depending on the photo that you take, it's going to kind of mask, you know, the obscenity within. And on the same, like on the same side of the same, damn it, on a different side of the same coin, we also have we also have aquatic aquariums, you know, which I think can also be called oceanariums, where, as you can imagine, it's an aquarium where you house mostly aquatic life, you know, so you have fish and mammals like whales and dolphins, you know. I don't think well, there are some aquariums that have whales, but many whale species are huge, you know, so it's really hard for you to house them in any aquarium, you know. You can't do like Jurassic World and have a big ass pen to have a mosasaurus, you know, and even that one was controversial in nature, you know. That pen was way too small for that thing, but still. There are certain things that you have to observe when you're taking into consideration the animal cruelty towards these mammals and fish, you know, in aquariums. But the thing is that the cruelty isn't actually because you necessarily abuse the animal physically. It's because you are putting it in a cage that is way too small for it, you know. When I went to Miami Aquarium many times as a kid, I saw Lolita, which is, I believe, the biggest orca in captivity in the world, you know, and she always looked huge. I don't know if she's still alive today, but I always wondered, wow, that orca is so big, man. That is crazy. Many years later, when I put more research into it, I realized that she really was too big, you know. That pen, that glass pen for her is way too small for an orca of that size, man, you know. She probably gets claustrophobic in many instances, and she's alone there, you know. It's only her and a few dolphins, but I don't think she socializes with any other members of her kind. It's not like SeaWorld where there are multiple whales, you know, and even that is hard to take in because you have multiple orcas in the same area that can become big, you know. It's really crazy. There was even this documentary called Blackfish some time ago. I'll leave a trailer for it up here about a killer whale whose name I believe was Keiko, who actually killed one of the trainers because he was so stressed out, you know. And this is the kind of thing that can happen, man. There can be many accidents in zoos, you know, with people trying to tame animals that clearly are not meant to be put somewhere and tamed, you know. It's literally impossible. You can't fight their instinctive nature. You can't tame that, you know. It's not a dog or a cat. So, and there are many aquariums that have really amazing aquatic species that are very, you know, it's incredible to see certain fish and mammals up close in a way that you wouldn't be able to in the wild because it'd be too dangerous, you know. But it is still cruel, you know. There are certain aquariums that house different species of sharks, but no aquarium in the world can have a great white shark, for example, you know, because it's an animal that refuses to be contained, you know. Because the great white shark, it kind of uses to a certain degree a level of echolocation like dolphins, where it kind of feels the vibrations around it, which it can use upwards of miles, you know, to see where the fish are, and it bounces back sound waves to it, you know. And in an aquarium, I mean, it's gonna go nuts because it's going to be sending out these sound waves, you know, with its brain and its sensors, and it's gonna be bouncing back on the walls and coming back to it over and over and over again. So it's like somebody blasting loud music in your ears 24/7. It's gonna drive the shark crazy. I believe that the one actual legit attempt at having a great white shark in an aquarium was in Japan, and it died because it just wouldn't eat, you know. It wouldn't eat, man, you know. And like a great white shark, it's gonna start ramming itself, you know, around the walls and stuff, you know. It needs room to gallop, you know. This shark took a fall for all of the other ones, man, you know. It really went down for the species, you know. I refuse to eat and consume anything. I'm gonna die. I will be a martyr for my species to never be put in a damn aquarium again, you know. That was crazy. So I mean, with regular fish, it's fine. The small fish, you know, that's okay. People have fish in their homes, you know, in their own aquariums. That's okay. But the bigger the species get, the harder it becomes to actually control them and, you know, allow them to live in captivity. Some animals live longer in captivity, but others, it's just really tough, man, you know. You have to constantly feed the thing and take care of it, you know. They essentially become pets for the people who work in the zoos and the aquariums, you know. But especially in aquariums, because holy freaking crap, man. Imagine having to feed a damn orca. You know, like even if you raise that thing as a calf and there's a level of confidence there, bro, you've got to have balls of steel to feed a fish to a damn orca and hope that it doesn't bite your arm off, you know. It's an orca, you know. It's not a hamster, man. It's an orca. It can accidentally bite your hand off and like not even feel it, you know. Holy freaking crap. Let's take a look at some photos here of aquariums before I move on. hundreds of millions of people visit zoos and aquariums every year, you know. I should probably specify that I'm talking about public aquariums, you know, because if I say just aquarium, it might seem like it's the one that you have in your house, you know. You can call it a public aquarium or an oceanarium, although I don't think it's very common, you know. Sea aquarium is specifically the one in Miami, but you get the idea. So many people visit them every year. They spend money there, they buy souvenirs and stuff, they see the animals. And let me fix my tripod here. I think maybe it's not in the right position here. I think it is. Okay, so so many people visit these places every year. They spend money there to have experiences, and I don't think a lot of them realize how, you know, devastating it is for some of these animals to be in such small confined spaces, you know. It's not fun for them, man, you know. It's not like, for us it is, it's for our amusement and entertainment, but like it gets worse when they make the animals do tricks and stuff, you know. That just bogs the whole thing down, you know, like they do a lot in SeaWorld and Miami Seaquarium. It's just egregious sometimes, you know. And I understand that some of these places do have good intentions at heart. They do try to actually help the animals to live healthier lives and preserve them, you know. But when you go into nature and take an animal out of there, you know, and bring it to an aquarium or a zoo, it's going to disrupt that food chain. Not like it's not gonna be an immediate thing, but maybe it'll have a long-term effect, or the opposite, you know. If you mass hunt many different species, you know, from one place and put them somewhere else, you know, their prey is going to proliferate out of control, you know. There aren't going to be enough predators. Like usually the predators like sharks, you know, and orcas in the wild, they kind of serve to sort of do population control, you know. So, and if you do the opposite and take away what they eat, you know, they're going to starve, and it's just going to take the whole thing out of whack, you know. We saw this many years ago when they did an experiment where they took wolves, I think, out of this area that they normally habitate, and it just got crazy, you know. But still, that's essentially what it is. I think that zoos and aquariums are oversized cages, you know. They are very cruel to the animals that are housed in them. They are entertaining, but at the same time, it's really hard to, you know, it's really hard to feel like empathy for the people who are doing it, unless of course you're actually trying to help the animals, you know. But still, like, there is a way for us to, you know, counteract this. If many people come together and actively, you know, and collectively boycott, you know, zoos and seaquariums, you know, public aquariums rather, and stop going to them, stop spending money, stop incentivizing it, then maybe they'll stop and release the animals, you know. But unfortunately, people keep going and going and going, so that's never gonna happen. But still, I would like to hear your opinions in the comments below, so let me know what you guys think about this topic, you know. If you've been to zoos and public aquariums and what you thought about them. If you share my opinion, and if you don't, let me know anyway. Let's have a little healthy debate. And if you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel, because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell too, so you can know exactly what time I upload. And it's all good, guys. It is all good. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.